So listen, I said before, sometimes you can be right about something, but I don't love how you deliver it, right? Like as a dad, sometimes I'm upset with my kids, and my delivery mechanism is lousy, and I've learned that as a dad. I don't mind what Aaron said. I just wish he didn't go public with it. Is that fair?
I think it's very fair. And to your point, just like Democrats have great policies, but their messaging is terrible. Republicans, they just get in line and tell me what to do. Even if it's illegal, I'll do it, but they stick together. So, Colin, what I'm saying is when you're in a locker room, Lee Rimmel told me this, you're not talking to the media or you're talking to the fans. You're talking to the locker room.
Yeah.
So he said, be measured about what you're saying so people can understand it. Because again, Colin, you got kids in there, 21 to 31, to grown men. How do you get on the same page? And that's what leaders try to figure out.
Yeah. I said this. It did feel like for the second time in a couple of weeks, first Aaron said, our offense needs to be simplified. And Matt LaFleur said, I don't even know what that means. And then this week he took a shot publicly and said, we got to get new guys reps. And it wasn't like mean-spirited, but it was a couple of shots at LaFleur, which I would prefer, Aaron, just go to LaFleur and bark at him in the office. How do you think that stuff lands with Matt? Because he's getting a lot of heat right now.
Well, there is no new guys. I mean, the guys are there. But I think what the Packers do, even when you see Tony going to Kansas City or even Robbie Anderson, going to Arizona, it was receivers, either one of them, the Moores, DJ Moore, Elijah Moore, any one of those guys would have came in a week ago, we wouldn't have this problem.
Right.
But to your point, the messaging really has to come from the head coach. Now, what we did in the 90s, we had a committee. That committee will go and figure out what's going on with the team, especially in losing streaks, okay? Because because no young guy, Romeo Dobbs is not going to walk up to Aaron Rodgers and say,
right.
Hey, listen, that pass was a little off. Can you get it up a little bit? He's not going to do that. So what you want him to do, have a clear the air to say, the head coach is the leader. I facilitate his message, not my own. And even if it's some differences, because I'm a big fan of Matt LaFleur, and I really think these guys, remember, they're close in age as well.
Right.
So, but Matt LaFleur is the head coach. So they'll get it. All they got to do is beat Buffalo. Everything will be fine. But it may not be. And if it's not, how do you deal with it?
Well, it is, it's interesting on this. One of the reasons I like bringing you on, LeRoy, is that you talk to the audience. Right? When you do local radio, you are really in the belly of it. And I'm not. I'm an outsider. So when you take calls on this, the blame pie, when you take calls on this, Packer fans, Colin, you're too hard on Aaron. What do your callers in Green Bay say on Aaron taking shots at the young guys? What do they say?
Well, they're not happy about it. I will say that. They say it's not helpful. Do it another way. And then some people say, well, you know what? It's brilliant what he's doing. He's putting all the pressure on him and taking it off of the younger guys. So it depends on what you think. And I think you can be an Aaron Rodgers fan and still be critical at times.
Sure.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I just think for the most part, when you start to say those guys, because I take a lot of therapy, Colin, and one thing about the therapists tell you, I want to talk about the man in the mirror. I don't want to hear about your family, your ex-girlfriend, or why you didn't get this raise. Let's talk about you first, because once I fix you, you can fix everybody else around you. So that I would say this to Aaron, and I would say this if he was on this show. I love you, my brother. I know what you're trying to do. Let's take a different route to grandma's
That's right.
house.
That's right.
Whether or not we take these routes, it don't matter. But let's just get to grandma's house.
Yeah. No, that's what I say. I listen, with kids, I can be right, but sometimes my delivery is lousy.
Exactly.
So you play Buffalo this week.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that is an oh, boy. I think Green Bay will be an effective team early. They have gotten into a tendency where Green Bay is very good on script early, and they just have nothing in the second, to which I say a lot of that is they're limited offensively, so they can practice ski. This is like Tua in Miami. excellent coaching, get you on the board, 12 scripted plays, but second half is playmaker time. And they don't have a lot of playmakers. And I think that's where I defend Aaron. It's a bunch of kids. That's why I'd go get Chase Claypool or somebody. What's your theory on the second half? Because Green Bay right now is a one-half football team.
Yes. That's a great question. I think if it was me, I would look at the Buffalo thing. I didn't think that Daniel Jones could beat the Packers. I didn't think Zach Wilson can beat the Packers. And I certainly didn't think Tyler Heineke could beat the Packers. I mean, there's no top receivers in none of those three teams, but they have receivers that catch the ball and go where they're supposed to go.
Right.
And there's no stress. And that's what Aaron meant. This could be good for us because the young guys, we have nothing to lose. We can go up there and play a team. And congratulations to Buffalo for getting their new stadium. They should have won the Super Bowl 2 or 3 years ago with all that talent they got.
Right.
But it's not played on the paper, Colin.
Right.
So you have a chance, but you got to execute.
Yeah. So people can like Matt LaFleur. Here's where I would level some criticism. I think Aaron Jones is the second best offensive player on Green Bay, and LaFleur's reputation was his reputation. He builds running games. Sometimes Aaron Jones just doesn't get the ball enough. I mean, the Giants, they know Barkley's their guy. He is like Derrick Henry in Tennessee. He's our guy. Yeah. Is it a fair criticism to say, Matt, you're not using your best players enough?
Of course. And I think he'd be okay to that. I think sometimes timing, it could be the RPOs. We didn't have that with the West Coast offense. It was a built-in audibling system. But if a guy come down in the box, you normally will audible and throw the ball. But with Aaron Jones, as you talked about, he's one of these platinum running backs. You can give it to him anyway. But here's the problem, though. The defenses know what we're saying.
Yeah.
Aaron, I think, averaged 6 yards of throw. They're going to just play cover 2 and stack up for the run. But again, the reason why the Commanders won that game, they ran the ball regardless. It didn't matter 3 and out, that's fine, but we ran the ball.
Right.
And then they were able to open up the passing. So maybe that's something the Packers will get into.
All right, give me your gut feeling this weekend. I think it's close early, blowout late. What are your thoughts on it?
It's hard to say in the NFL, but I got Buffalo 27-10 to the Packers. The Packers haven't scored in the 20s and seem like forever.
Right.
And again, Buffalo coming off a bye week. I get it. Everything is in their favor.
Right.
But anything can happen.
All right. Leap 36 is his podcast. He's got a vodka behind that. How about that? Look at that. He's just.
And I got your jersey. I got to mail it to you, though.
All right. I'm ready for it. Yeah, talk is cheap. Mail. Oh, look at that. It's got my name on it.
Yeah, I got your name on it. Yep.
All right.
I got you.
All right. Tell my producer.
It's expensive mailing stuff to California.
LeRoy, it's a pleasure, buddy. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.